from Your Black World, the Black Business School. I want to say hello to everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. And I thought that I would take a moment. I'm usually in the middle of my busy day, so sometimes I like to check in with you guys and say hello. And I want to address a Black Wealth confession. I received a Black Wealth confession from someone today that basically involves a lot of debt that she has, in addition to the fact that she's a teacher. And I say she, I don't know where I saw a gender specific language, but maybe I got that wrong. But I saw a message from this teacher who says she makes $54,000 a year, and she is $205,000 in debt. But there is some hope around the corner. And so I want to address this Black Wealth confession. If you give me a second, let me pull this up. And do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. And also, if you want me to address your Black Wealth confession on financialjunekingtv.com, you can send it to blackwealthconfessions.com. That's blackwealthconfessions.com. And I will address as many confessions as I can. Now, what's the reason for Black Wealth confessions? It's because we want Black people to be the smartest, the best economic minds in the world. We want to lead the world in Black economic intelligence and financial literacy. So the best way is for each one to teach one, for us to learn from the mistakes of others. Put your hashtag #Be1 in the chat if you are Black First. We are Black First on this platform. I want to remind you guys of that. So put hashtag #Be1 in the chat. Let me untangle some of these cords. It's kind of, I got to be careful because if I hit the wrong cord, I'll just disappear. And y'all be wondering what happened to me. All right. So here's the actual confession that was submitted. It says, I'm a Spanish teacher who's $205,000 in student loan debt. Student loans. How many of us hear about student loans? How many student loan victims do we have in the room who are being hammered by all this crazy student loan debt? If you are a student loan survivor or victim, or you're being hammered by student loans right now, say something in the chat, because student loans are a big problem across America, especially in Black America. And a lot of that is because this is an amount of debt that's even hard for white people to repay. And white people have more wealth than you have. So you have this much debt. If they have this much debt and this much income, you have this much debt and that much income. You have more debt, more student loan debt than they do, and less income than they do. Well, if you want to know, that's a losing formula. That's like a football team saying, well, we want to try to win games, and so we want to make sure our opponents score 100 points a game, and we're going to score 10. Well, if your opponent is scoring 100 points a game and you're scoring 10, then guess what? You're not going to win no games. You're not going to win anything. You're going to lose. So it's simple. This ain't calculus. I don't need any inch of my PhD to make this point. OK, so let me keep reading more. She says, but here's the thing. This person's very smart. And I admire this individual who sent this Black Wealth confession, because the first step toward improving ourselves is we have to accept when we've messed up. We got to take responsibility, open our minds to new solutions. Right. So she says, I've set up an emergency fund and I've begun investing. Good for you. Cha-ching, cha-ching. There's a couple things you've done already that's going to improve your condition. Next, my annual salary is $54,000 a year. I'm a renter. Renting means you're buying a house for your landlord. Just so you know that. Just so you know. Not to say there's any shame in being a renter. I've been a renter. I mean, I was a renter for a long time. Sometimes I still rent stuff. But just know, when you're renting, you're losing. Just make sure you're clear on that. But my goal is to own multiple rental properties. Ding, 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 ding. Real estate, one of the keys to wealth. Yeah. Hey, hooray for you. I've invested in a coffee shop. Good. Invest. I like this. I'm here. I'm seeing a trend here. I have a Roth IRA account with TD Ameritrade. Okay. Retirement is set. And my YouTube channel is too new to monetize. And she gives the link to the YouTube channel. So I'm going to try to grab this link and see if I can share it. Maybe we can help the sister out. I say sister because I don't know. I feel like my energy is telling me that this is a woman, but then again, maybe it's because I'm just a selfish pig or a sexist pig. I hope I'm not. But then again, aren't we all a little bit sexist deep down? Who knows? All right. So anyway, let me share this link here to the YouTube channel. I'm gonna put this right here in the chat. There we go. So everybody go subscribe to this YouTube channel, and then you can come back and maybe tell me if it's a brother or a sister. If you're on Instagram, I can't share the link in Instagram. Oh, and see, I'm totally messed up. I totally messed up. It's not a sister, it's a brother. And but either way, brother, I am going to subscribe to your channel. In fact, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna help this brother out. Let me share my screen so you guys can see the channel. And I need y'all to go support this brother who just came out and is helping us with this confession. I think it's beautiful. I think it's awesome. It's very smart. So here is his page. It says most definitely, like most definitely, except spelled like Steph. So there he is right here. And he is, and it looks like his channel's growing, well, a little bit. And he's got some good videos here, and I think that he's worth paying attention to. All right, so let me shut this down. Let me stop my screen and finish up responding to this brother. All right, so here's what I see, and I'm going to break this down real quick. Okay, all right, so let's talk about the debt thing, right? All right, so here's what you can do, right? When it comes to debt, I went in and I took this debt. I took $205,000 and I put it in a debt calculator. And I said, if this brother continues on a $54,000 a year salary and pays this debt the old-fashioned way, the way they told you in college, the way they told you, you know, you just work hard, find some white man to work for, and then work for him until the day you die. And maybe by the time you're dead, you will have paid off this debt. So if you take the old-fashioned route, let me see. So if you put the amount in the calculator, if you assume they're paying 4% interest, which isn't a bad interest rate, and he pays, let's say that he's making $54K a year, so that's about $4,500 a month, and let's say he's bringing home about $3K of that, right? Which is a big assumption. That's a generous assumption. And then let's say his bills and everything else is about $2,200. So let's say he shovels $800 a month toward this debt. He wants to attack this debt with everything he's got. So this brother being a good sport, he goes and he shovels $800 a month into this debt repayment. Guess how long it's going to take him to repay this debt? I want you to guess in the chat. Somebody guess the number of years that this brother, if you assume 4% interest, $205,000 in debt, if you assume he makes payments of $800 a month, which is a big number, that's a fat number, especially for somebody that makes $54K a year. How many years do you think it will take him to repay this debt? I will wait. Let's do Black Jeopardy for a minute. Except on this Black Jeopardy, we're actually smart. We're not like Saturday Night Live where they're fulfilling stereotypes. Can anybody tell me? Can anybody guess? Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know you can hear me okay. So I'm looking for you. I'm looking for your responses, and it's not coming through. There we go. Okay, so Yassine says 55. Let's see. Someone says 200 years, 72 years, 50 years. Trevor says never. 40 years. Jay 25. All right. So let me give you the answer. The answer is 48.25 years. It would take him almost 50 years to repay this debt if he shoveled in $800 a month. And I'm talking about, and mind you, he's living like a miser, right? He's cutting corners. He's eating bologna every day, bologna with macaroni, not the good macaroni, but the old plastic macaroni that you get in the box that you boil or whatever, right? So he's really scrimping. He's really hustling to pay down this debt, and it will take him 50 years. So that means if he is 30 years old, he will be done by the time he's about 78. As I said 50 years, actually it's 48.25 years. That's how long it will take him to repay the student loan debt. So when I say that student loans have the capacity to put, and in fact, not the capacity, they actually do put many of our people in debt for life. I'm not playing. They put you in sharecropping. It is modern day sharecropping. Modern day, why do I call it modern day sharecropping? Because if you go back and you study how sharecropping worked, sharecropping gave you the illusion of positioning yourself for a better life by taking on a bunch of debt so you can get access to an asset that was supposed to generate enough income for you to get yourself out of debt. But it didn't work that way, right? College is the same way. Why do you go give those white folks all your money when you go there and you sign that piece of paper with a $100,000, $200,000 debt? Because they're giving you an asset that is this college degree, this piece of paper that's supposed to generate enough income for you to go back and repay the debt. But the problem is, for many people, not everybody, but for many people, it becomes a bad investment. When a company gets started, there's nothing wrong with a company getting started on debt. There's nothing wrong with using debt to accelerate your income earning potential. That's what debt is supposed to do. But a bad investment is when you have too much debt or an overdose of debt in which the company does not generate enough income to repay the debt. And then guess what happens to the company? It goes bankrupt and dies, right? You lose. You didn't win. Somebody else won, though, because you spent your whole life giving all of your labor to build somebody else's company. Maybe you were renting and you bought a house for your landlord. Maybe you were buying consumer items, so you made a bunch of corporations rich, right? But you lost the game. You had nothing for yourself. You gave everything to everyone else except for you. And this is important. I have these conversations with you as Black people because one important aspect of our economic self-esteem and our economic maturity is we have to understand that we've been trained for a very long time to believe that that's normal. We've been trained for a very long time to believe that we're supposed to give everything to everybody else and nothing for ourselves. That's why you had Black folks that got mad at Ice Cube when Ice Cube went to the politicians and said, what about us? We want something for ourselves. And people got mad because they're addicted to giving up everything and having nothing left, right? So here's what I want to say to this brother. By the way, hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button, please do that. Also, if you want, there's a free lecture right there that I did that's really, really good. I made it available to the public. It's at blackfinancialsecurity.com, and it breaks down what financial security looks like and allows you to kind of get a glimpse and an understanding of some of the warning signs to look for and ways to improve your financial security for your family. So watch it with your families right there, blackfinancialsecurity.com. Also text the word Boyce to 31996 and you'll get text notifications when I go live. So here's what I see here. Now, so here's your problem, right? Your debt is up here, but your income is down here. 54K, that's okay salary if you have zero debt, but it's not an okay salary if your debt is 200 grand, right? So what you got to do, you got a couple of choices. You can either use the little bit of debt. It's like you know what it is. It's like a basketball game where you're letting the other team score 100 points a game, but you're scoring like 30 points a game. And so it's you're not going to win the game that way, right? So you either have to make sure the other team's scoring fewer points, or you've got to score more points. Those are the only two options you have, right? The New England Patriots won the Super Bowl, I think, a couple years ago by scoring about 18 points or 17 points. That's because their defense had to be on lock. That means their defense was so good that the Rams couldn't hardly get the ball down the field. So that's how they were able to win, because the goal is to have more points for your team than for the other team, to gain more points than you give away. So your revenue, your income, your wealth has to, in order for you to have a positive net worth, what you earn must exceed what you owe. What you gain must exceed what you lose, right? So you've already lost this much. And you're making that much. So in order for you to win the game, you either just as a general strategy, either you must keep your debt low and live below your means, or you must find an income level that can match the amount of debt and the amount of expenses that you have to deal with. So for this brother, what I see as his best option is you got to increase your income. That's the point. That's what I'm getting at, right? Your offense must score more points in order for you to win the game. So what I see is I love the fact that he wants to go from being a renter to being an owner. That right there is a huge step in terms of getting closer to building wealth. So, literally save up to buy your first house like your life depended on it. Take classes on real estate, study the game, learn everything you need to know, talk to the mortgage broker about what your credit score needs to be. Go take those special classes on how to get the FHA loans and all that, because if you become a renter, if you become an owner instead of a renter, your income is going to go up, your wealth is going to go up, because you're no longer making your landlord rich, you're actually making yourself rich. Next, I like the fact that you're a teacher. So I think online teaching is a really great way to make extra income. A good side hustle does a lot for your financial situation. If you're making, say, so let's say the brother's bringing home $3K a month. What if he figures out how to set up a side hustle and he's bringing home an extra $1,500? Well, now you've increased your income by 50%. So now you can go back and you can really attack that debt at a much more ferocious pace, because you've got more money to work with, and it doesn't cause you to decrease your lifestyle. One thing that I used to hate budgeting, because I hated the idea of having to shrink down my lifestyle in order to fit some stupid budget so I could spend my whole life paying back a dumb loan from somebody who overcharged me in the first place. That just pissed me off. So I said, you know what? Instead of me cutting back on my lifestyle, I'm simply going to expand my income base so that I can have the same lifestyle. And that which used to be expensive now becomes cheap. So here's what I did. So my income was here, my lifestyle was here. So I pushed my income here and my lifestyle stayed here. So now that which seemed to be an extravagant lifestyle is now actually me living below my means, right? Now you get extra cash flow. You can put that extra cash flow toward the other things that you want to do. So that's what I would do. Learn how to make more money. You got your YouTube channel. I think that's great. I sent you a few subscribers, so hopefully that'll help you out. Being consistent. I like the way your head works. I think that you're heading in the right direction. I evaluate people the way the stock market evaluates companies and assets. The stock market doesn't look at where you are or where you've been. The stock market looks at where you're going, right? That's why right now in the middle of the pandemic, the stock market is skyrocketing, because the stock market is not looking at companies based on where they are. They're looking at companies based on where they're going. So when I look at this brother, I see where he's going. He owns a piece of a coffee shop. Work on that coffee shop. Maybe take a class in entrepreneurship so you can become a better entrepreneur. Join a group of entrepreneurs so they can give you ideas on how to increase the revenue base for that coffee shop. Dig into real estate. Learn how to become a homeowner. I like the fact that you're already investing for retirement, right? Your retirement, your 401ks and all that stuff, and IRAs and all that becomes a part of your financial security plan. So I think you're in good shape. I just think that you can't. Here's the deal. Here's the one thing that must happen. You must not sit at $54K a year in income. You've got to find a way to increase that substantially. The good thing, though, is that you're giving yourself lots of offensive options that can allow you to score. So you think about like a football analogy. I'm a football fan, so I think about everything in terms of sports. So now, instead of having a football team where all you're doing is playing defense, you've actually got a team where you just added a great running back, you've added 2 or 3 great wide receivers, you got a quarterback that can run the 40-yard dash in 4.3 seconds. Now you're going to get the ball down the field. So even if you give away points on defense, you still have a shot at winning the game. But right now you're behind in the game because they trapped you in that student loan trap. That student loan trap is the number one thing that destroys the wealth of Black people in America. That is the number one factor that kills the economic potential of Black college graduates, because not only is their debt high debt is one problem, but the limited capacity to confront that debt is a bigger problem. So what happens is you take on a ton of debt to get a piece of paper that gives you the ability to go work for a white guy who's only going to let you go so far in the company anyway, and only let you make so much money. And also, so you never learn anything about multiple streams of income. You never learn anything about actually building an asset base, owning versus renting, starting businesses. You're not thinking about the stock market. You're not thinking about any of the ways that rich people make money. Because one thing I've mentioned to you guys before, and I'll mention this and I'm going to go, is that most people that make the most money in America are the people who do not work. The people who do not work are the ones who make the most money in this country. So if you want to sort of have an ideal of what it means to be wealthy, the question is, can you get up in the morning, roll over, look at your phone, move a couple of assets around into, move some cash in your account, and then go back to sleep and know that you have enough money to pay your bills for the rest of the month. When you get to that point, that's when you know you're wealthy, okay? Because I know wealthy people, and that's what they do. They're not getting up and going to work every day. That they used to do that. They don't do that anymore. Okay. So anyway, if you want to submit your Black Wealth Confession, you can go to blackwealthconfessions.com. There's the URL. Feel free to send it in. I'm going to be honest. There's a lot of them. There's dozens of them in there, and I try to answer them whenever I can. But I can't get to them all. But feel free to put it in there because what I want to do is take the stories and feel free to confess. Tell me where you messed up. Tell me about a mistake you've made. You can even give a testimonial if something really great has happened. Especially if it's a result of something you've learned from me or the Black Business School. Share that too, because I want people to know that this is the solution. This is the one thing that if we as Black people change this one thing, this is going to change everything else. If we change the economic issue in our community, we will win every other game that's out there. Last but not least, don't forget the Black Wealth Bootcamp starts on January 7th. So if you want to join us for the Black Wealth Bootcamp, you can still get a 30% off early bird discount. Feel free to go to blackwealthbootcamp.com. That's blackwealthbootcamp.com. So hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell also so that you can be notified whenever we go live. And I'm out of here, guys. I will see you soon. Have a great day. Take care. Peace.